So.
But if no answer and I don't see it, I can call you back about what time I think you might be or get ready to go to bed. I put it like that. You know how I'm located in my office, and by the time I get up, it's gonna be gone. I know that. I don't. That's why I don't use the phone or nothing. With back.
Okay. No, that's no.
All these 100 years now, so I don't feel bad about it because I've had a bill and I never use it. So, but I might get another one now. So I have things in my bed don't do.
There you go.
They put it, but I don't know where they are. All right. Bye bye for now.
Okay. Bye bye for now.
If I can get on, I will. If not, I won't be back.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, we got some people tapping in already. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Miss Joyce?
Well, he have his social media. He be covering the field.
You know, we try to make sure that at least
Mm-hmm.
we have a conversation, constructive conversations.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's awesome.
And that's the role. You see Philip on there. Hey, Philip. Hey, Laura. We got Laura in the studio. We're just getting everything settled. We have our special guest today, Ms. Claire McClinton, and we're going to dive right in it. You give us about 2 minutes. We're about to get right to it. How you holding up, Brother Ryan? Okay. Y'all still hear AC all the way up there? That was loud.
Sound clear, you're on live.
Yeah.
How we sound, Brother D? Checking it out now. How we sound, Brother D? You good? You good? Yes, sir. You know these? Yeah, no. I know these Harper dollars is a very, very important topic. I actually have received a number of different calls today about it.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's confusing now too.
It's very interesting. Hey, how you doing, Sharice? How you doing? So, mother, we can look right here, and I can read these off and just kind of like just.
Go ahead. You go ahead. You drive it. I'll just jump in.
I got you back.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, family.
I be wondering how you be answering those when I'm watching it. You be on there answering it, talking, and I say, wow, he multitasking like crazy.
I'll be trying to get it in there, Mama. It's multitasking at its best.
Mm-hmm.
See the echo back there, look.
It's just a delay.
Yeah.
Once you say something, it's a few seconds delay before it comes through on your phone.
Yeah, I'm tagging my friend in England if he always wants to
Come on.
pet Nick
Come on, England.
if he's awake and not drunk. They like to hit the pubs, man.
He's at work over there, right? So, yeah.
I don't know what time is it.
It's after work here, so
Right.
for the day shift. So
Yeah, it'd be like 2.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Hello, everybody. We're about to get it started. We see Xavier on there. What's going on, Xavier?
We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it, dogs. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce.
My city experiencing a transition from penny pinching, maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came a long way from baby jars in a project kitchen.
All right. Peace and blessings. So we are live here in the studio, Fli-City Blackout. We have a very important conversation and message to send out to the public. We want to definitely be very frank and direct. We're talking about ARPA dollars here, folks. We know that it's money that's came to this city, and I know everybody is wondering how we're going to spend it. How can you get access to it? Who's the players at the table? And nevertheless, we want to be able to provide information to the best of our abilities to ensure that you know how to get connected, how to get those monies out here to the community, where agencies, how we can develop to, really make a plan of action for us. So we have a very special guest in the studio today, none other than the water warrior, historian, just a beautiful gem for this community, Miss Claire McClinton. How you doing, Mama?
I'm doing just fine. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So before we get into the conversation about the ARPA dollars, please let folks know about you and all the work that you have done and just the history. Just give them a historical value, right, in the summary about who you are.
Well, I'm a Flintstone, starting with that, and went to Flint Public Schools. I'm a retiree from General Motors, and because of my age, I was in the 60s and 70s is where I was introduced to a lot of social justice issues. And that's how we kind of got locked into those causes that were going on. There were civil rights movement, anti-war movement, and a lot of things were going on in that time. And many of us that's my age, the baby boomer age, we got hooked into those social movements. Right. And so we never dreamed that we would be sitting up here talking about clean water. That's something we didn't even imagine.
Right.
But the challenge came before us, and we've got to continue to rise to meet the challenge. And Flint, it's time for us to wake up.
That's right.
And get up and move up. It's in our DNA. Resistance is in our biology.
Mhm.
That's who we are. We push back
Right.
against injustice, and we've been so abused in recent years. I think some of us kind of forgot that, but
Mhm.
we have to get back into it because the world is watching Flint to see how we come back from the water crisis
Mhm.
as well as COVID, but particularly water.
Right.
Anywhere you go and you say Flint, they think about our water challenge. So we've got to set the example for other cities and municipalities of how to win this fight for clean, affordable water.
And I think, we definitely commend you for all the activity that you've been getting engaged in over the years, since the days of in the shop fighting and making a difference to continue to fight about the Flint water crisis, which is not over yet. I want folks to understand that we are still dealing in crisis. People are still dealing with bad water. We just had a boil advisory just last week,
Yeah.
right? That supposedly ended, but then U of M, to our sources today, stated that they lifted it today. So, and then also when you talk about the settlement, that settlement was a sorry. Um, I can say some words, but it was a very, very low amount, and we should have been credited much more than what we've gotten, right? And people still haven't received a check, maybe a callback, some information, still waiting on documents and all these different things. And then the water shutoffs is coming back. So,
Yeah.
Flint is in a very peculiar situation. But I want to say it was because of the activists, first and foremost. It was because of the activists, right? That got out there on the front line to force the issue. And you were on the leading charge, you was on the front line, and you continue to keep doing so to this day. So I always want to give our flowers while we're here, right? While we can smell them, while we have the opportunity to say it, and then of course we can get some follow back from you. So, nevertheless, thank you for all the work that you've done.
Well, thank you for thanking me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, and then now I know that people all want to know about these funding that came to the city. Flint has in recent years received so much funding, right, from different sources, whether it be in ARPA dollars, whether it be in the water crisis, whether it be in the ESCR funds, right? You have all these different sources that came to the city of Flint. So Flint has the money, Flint has the resources, but unfortunately, sometimes that money does not make it down to the people. So I know we've been going back and forth trying to get understanding how do we get access to these funds specifically, and I'm talking ARPA dollars, right? What was the total amount that we received from the ARPA dollars?
We received $94 million.
We received $94 million to the city of Flint. So that's $94 million. And what was the purpose of those dollars?
The purpose of those dollars, it was called the American Rescue Plan Act. It was to help to recover from the COVID, to mitigate a lot of the unemployment, housing, people losing homes, and a lot of issues developed during COVID. And these monies were to help mitigate some of that pain and suffering during COVID.
Right.
Now, I also want to say, with Flint, we had the water crisis on top of the COVID. And
right.
Here we are in 2023. Happy New Year. Guess what? January 1st, the water shutoffs continue.
Right.
The city is now back to shutting your water off.
Right.
January 1st, the bottled water distribution has ended.
Yeah. I know.
Happy New Year 2023. Our settlement, as meager as it probably is going to be, is stuck in the courts.
Right.
So we got a lot of things that's happening to us now that we have to get into along with this. But this immediate thing we got to confront is the ARPA funds. Those funds must be allocated by the end of this year, and they must be spent by the end of next year.
I want you to say that again. When you're talking about those dollars have to be spent by the end of this year?
They have to be allocated.
Allocated by the end of this year.
Yes.
So to break things down for folks, so so we talking frank. When we talking allocated, what are we saying? Is it just has to be spent? Does it have to go to an agency to facilitate those dollars? What are we saying when we're talking those dollars have to be spent by the end of this year or allocated by the end of this year?
They have to be, in other words, the federal government has to know this is how we're going to spend the money by the end of this year.
Mhm.
By the end of next year, it has to be spent.
So by the end of next year, those dollars, those ARPA dollars, must be spent.
Yes.
Right. So tell me this. As a community member in the neighborhood, right, I may be dealing with certain type of issues, whether it be in repairs need to be done in my home, or I have programs that I want to do with the youth, or I'm looking to start a business. How do and how can that person or myself or whoever get connected to them ARPA dollars?
Well, let me just say this
Mhm.
as an activist in the community.
Mhm.
You're only going to get what you organize to take. If you don't go out there and fight for what you believe
That's right.
is rightfully yours,
Mhm.
you're not going to get it. Somebody else is going to make that decision for you.
Right.
So that's one thing that we have to start from that.
Mhm.
We can't sit back and let somebody tell us what you may or may not get.
Come on.
If you believe, and my neighbor on Saturday,
Mhm.
I told my neighbor, I said, hey, it's a boil water advisory. And he said, it don't make me no difference because they shut my water off.
So he's already
See,
had his water shut off.
we hurting out here. This is not no joke.
Mhm.
We are hurting. And what I'm afraid of, and I'm going to let you go ahead on that, I'm going to get into what they got set up for us.
Mhm.
And then we got to talk about what we got to do for us, because
Mhm.
the first thing I want to say about ARPA is this.
Mhm.
It's our money.
It's our
Don't
money.
let nobody tell you no different.
Right.
That is our money. The
Right.
money is there because of the COVID, but it's also there because we got out and voted somebody and we getting some political benefits from that.
Okay.
That's just the reality. Now, I'm not trying to be this group versus that group,
Right,
but
right.
it's the activism in the voting process that helped to trigger these monies coming to us.
Mhm.
And so that's why we say, that's one reason why we say it's our money, because
That's right.
we got out there and fought for it.
That's right.
The second reason we say that it's our money is because this money is different from money that usually comes into the city.
Right. And break that down for me too. Like,
Okay. During the water crisis,
Mhm.
millions and millions of dollars came to the city of Flint.
Mhm.
But how did it come and who decided how it was spent?
Right.
It came through the Obama administration.
Mhm.
It went to the state first.
Right.
They didn't send money directly to Flint.
That's the
They
big
sent
difference.
it to the state, and then the state distributed to who they wanted to have it. And that's how come all of the people downtown got the money.
Right.
And the governor that poisoned us, he got to decide how our water money got spent. Hello, make that make sense.
See, and let's hone in. Let's hone in right there, though. Right, when we talking about when dollars are being allocated to the state, right, for the water crisis, which the state was complicit.
Yes.
Right. So they had the responsibility of giving it to who they should and who they feel.
Yes.
Right. So when you're talking about all those millions of dollars, all those dollars that came into the city that was for Flint residents because of the water crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at that sheet, right, that was presented to the community where those dollars went, everybody got those dollars but the people of Flint.
That's right.
When you're talking folks down there in Lansing, you're talking about the YMCA, you're talking all these construction firms, you even got these names that weren't even named on there. It was just a line item.
Yes, it was.
But the dollars were distributed, right? So that's where, when we talk about activism, that's why we get out here and we do the work that we do. And Flint has to understand that we the people, we have to do our due diligence in deciding how the direction of the city for one, and how the money is being spent.
Yes.
So that is a keen understanding of why, you know, we're still in this predicament that we're in now, when millions, hundreds of millions of dollars came to the city of Flint, and we don't got nothing to show for it.
But in the meantime, it put us on alert when ARPA money came. Because see, after that money got squandered, we kind of had our antennas up. We can't let this happen again.
Right.
And this ARPA money did not go to the state for them to pick and choose who they wanted to have it.
Right.
This went directly into the Flint city coffers.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's why we say it's our money.
So
And
now,
don't let nobody tell you no different.
so now that these ARPA dollars, right, came directly to the city of Flint,
Yes.
to Flint's bank account, right? So now Flint has the due diligence in distributing these dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We learned something.
When we say Flint, we mean we the people.
Okay.
This is our money.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to these various town halls and things and listened to the voices of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And what our group is doing now, first of all, it's not transparent as it should be. But secondly, we're trying to look at how this money is being distributed to see is what we the people said matching how you spending the money.
Right.
That's how we judge that.
And we've had a series of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
There's always these focus groups, or there's always these, you know, these groups that have these conversations with the community and say, how do you want to spend the money, right? Or what do you think we should spend the money on, right? Or who should be getting these dollars? We have those conversations so you understand the need, right?
Yes.
But then after you understand the need and what people are saying based on the constituent base and the need of our people, of the people, then we should be able to formulate a plan to make sure the dollars goes directly toward that.
Yes.
So now that the dollars are here, now that we had all the meetings, now we had the conversations, the money is in the bank right now. Who is getting this money?
Okay, I just happened to come across a outline of what's been spent so far
Okay.
out of the ARPA funds, and 8.9 million went to water credit, the $300 water credit.
Okay.
I went to both the mayor and the city council's
Mm-hmm.
public forums to see what people wanted. Nobody said they want $300 water credit. Okay, I'm just
People
saying.
got like $2,000-$3,000 bills.
Okay.
Some got $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000,
And are
$9,000 bills.
currently being shut off.
That's currently, yeah, they weren't
Even
supposed to
with
get shut
the
off.
$300 credit.
Right.
And we're not saying that having a water credit, of course, I took the water credit. If you can get some little help, you do.
Right.
But that is not what this money should be doing. It should be doing something historic that's going to last for years to come.
Mhm.
And one of the things our group have been advocating is a water affordability, that
Right.
your water bill is tied to your usage, and your water bill is tied to your income. Your
Okay.
income decides how much water bill is, not how much you use. And this is what we've been advocating for.
Right.
And they did that in Detroit with their ARPA dollars.
They was able to make that
They
plan.
have a low income thing that some people's bill is $18 a month.
Really?
$18 a month. Plus they paid their arrearage
They paid their arrears.
and $18 a month. That's sewer and water
So-
based on their
That's a
income.
great idea.
And who presented that plan?
Well, I tell you who drove it was again
Mhm.
grassroots activists, the
Okay.
welfare rights, and they have this group down there called the People's Water Board. And for years they've been fighting for water affordability. And when this big money came into Detroit, the city decided to pick up on that idea, and they implemented this affordable water plan for the city of Detroit.
And I wanted to double back real quick. Think about that, Flint. We are paying one of the highest water rates than anybody in this country. right? When you talking about a $52 service charge before you even use water, right? I remember as a kid, $52 was probably 3 months of water for us,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we paying $52 service charge before we even use water. We got folks water bill in the sums about 150, maybe even more than that, depending on the family size, right? That is something that we should have been always advocating on, and we need to work actually like just like Detroit groups, with grassroots organizations to really address that situation.
That's how it came about.
So that's why it's so important to be at these community meetings, at these conversations at the table, sitting around talking with elders and people who have been out here doing these things, but then also working with other groups that have done it, right?
Yes.
Detroit has done it. You heard what she said. They paying water based on their actually on their income,
ability to pay,
right?
Not
And
their usage.
that is really, I would prefer that than $300 credit. I know I took $300 credit too, right? Because my bill, I'm protesting water mama right now. I ain't paying the bill until them rates come down, right? But nevertheless, I got to keep the water on.
Yes.
I'm gonna take that credit, but then more or less, we do need to activate a plan and really have some real resolve and relief with this water crisis. So give us some more numbers. Well,
Okay, they also paid $16 million to, they put money with the land bank for demolition of blighted and hazardous buildings. Now, just like the water credit, that's a good idea too.
okay.
But it's not quite matching what the people said. Some
Okay.
people did get up and say they need some of the buildings tore down. But a
Okay.
lot of the people got up and said, we need housing
So
and we need rehabilitation.
okay.
It wasn't a lot of a big mounting thing of tear these buildings down. And even when they did, they wanted something to replace it,
Right.
not just go out there and level the buildings.
Right.
What you gonna put in its place? And
Right.
a lot of people were calling for rehabilitation of existing homes
I agree.
with the tarp on the roof. We don't want to see no more tarps on the roof.
Right. That's an
We don't.
eyesore.
And also, there are what they call gyms or like they call on HGTV, diamond in the roof.
Yeah.
There's homes, they're unoccupied, but
Mhm.
they got good bones.
Good foundation.
People
good
ask
foundation,
for
yeah.
that.
Right.
This does not cover that so far. And we're not saying these things are bad, but what we're saying is how do what you're doing line up to what the people see it. That's what we're saying.
Nah, and so land bank received $16 million strictly for demolition.
Yes, but they put money with it, and also the Mott Foundation and others. So that's what they call leveraging. Like I put in some, you put in some. We have enough what we can do, And so I'm gonna leave that.
No, I think that but that's some conversation for us, right? Remember, is what the people wanted to do and how they want to spend this money is how it should have went, right? But then also you want to understand how these programs are tailor made and facilitated and told to the public, so people get a clear understanding. Is this really what we want, right? Or is this something that they feel that they want to do and what they see as necessary? So one thing for sure, I do feel when we're talking about, because it was $7.6 million in residential requests, right? $7 million over residents. So the city of Flint residents requested from these ARPA dollars $7 million. We'll get the application. We'll talk about the application in a minute.
Okay.
But and a lot of those was home repair, right? A lot of those was about repairing a roof. A lot of those was about seniors who need handicap accessibility tools or maintenance and setups and structures, right? Which I agree with, right? You want to invest into these properties, you want to invest into these neighborhoods. That brings a tax base, that brings more money to the household, that raise actually generational wealth when you own your property in your own home. Yeah, so I agree that that's what we should do with some of those dollars, and that's what the community was saying that they wanted.
Yes.
So will we see any of that? Like how would that play out? Give me some.
Well, there's a couple of other things I don't want to leave off. A couple of the big. There was a $3.5 million to go to Ashley Capital to revitalize and expand manufacturing at the old Buick City site. That was a good thing to
Okay, what was
to
that?
reestablish a manufacturing facility in the old Buick complex. So they put money toward that. Then they put 2.7 million.
Now, what does that necessarily mean, though? What does that necessarily mean when they say they put $3.5 million into the redevelopment of the old Buick City?
Okay,
What's going to happen?
I don't know all of the details, but this company called Ashley Capital is trying. They've done cleanup, and they are creating like what they call an industrial park for different businesses to come in there. So they took some ARPA money and they put it with some other money so they can develop that site
space. Okay.
For industrial use.
Okay.
The details of it, I'm not sure.
So we're still waiting on the details, and once those details become more clear, we'll be able to put that back out.
Yes,
Okay.
It might be clear to somebody. I'm just not clear, but I do know it was for industrial development in that whole Buick complex.
Okay.
And then they had 2.7 million for premium pay for the essential workers, for the police, the firefighters. You know, the sacrifices they made through COVID, they gave them some bonuses and stuff.
And how much was that amount again?
2.7 million.
2.7 million went to first responders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And others, I'm sure that city employees.
Okay. We do commend everybody who's on the front line during COVID.
Yeah.
I think, when you sacrifice your life for the better good of everybody else, and during COVID, nobody was out there but certain people. So we do support, people and, sacrificing their lives to get out there and make a difference for everybody. I get that.
Yes. So, and then we know recently you all heard about the St. John.
Shout out to St. John's neighborhood.
St. John got something. That's
you grew
right.
up over there?
That's where I was born.
That's
good.
Brother D was born there.
Now that's some legacy money too, because it's part of our history. Flint,
yes,
the St. John experience, and to have something where they can keep that together and pass the knowledge on to the future, it's so exciting. And those members of the St. John reunion group, they just soldiers. They had just stuck in there and stuck with that, trying to make sure that the St. John legacy continues.
Didn't get lost, right? And, definitely big shout out to Fred Bashir and Brenda Fluker and all the folks that's been working in St. John's and lived in the St. John's, Reverend Flowers and Mr. Dickerson and all the other people that talk about St. John's neighborhood. I heard a lot of great things about St. John's neighborhood. If I was here during those times, I would Reverend Threlkill, he always he know
all of that,
right?
That history.
I would have loved to live in that neighborhood during those times. You had a lot of people. Everybody lived in one neighborhood, right? You're talking about the teacher, you're talking about the businessman. They had a lot of storefronts in the area, but you had a lot of wealth being developed in the city of Flint in that neighborhood. So I'm glad to see that project move forward.
Yeah, it's good.
And so when we're talking about now, how much funds do we have left? How much monies do we have left from the ARPA dollars?
I'm not sure how much is left. Probably 7. I don't know. I'm not going to even try to figure it out.
You just know that money is being spent.
We do, but a portion of that money, 15 million of it. This is a good segue into that.
Okay.
15,660,000 is called community grant program funding, and that money is the closest to impacting residents.
Come on, say it again.
This is the part of the money that impacts us directly the most, because this is housing and blight, public health, and economic development.
Okay. So Give us the skinny on that. What is
Well, here's where the problem comes in
that? Mm-hmm.
that we as the public has to articulate. And we were shocked when we heard the announcement. And we were shocked by the administration, and we was double shocked by the complicity of the city council. Because this money, they're going to pick a advisory committee to decide who get the money for these things that's closest to our lives and everyday life.
Oh,
But they picked Ruth Mott Foundation and a representative from Community Foundation. They let them be in charge of picking the committee that's going to decide where this money go.
Okay, so
Well, did y'all hear what I said?
No, I didn't. So you got
Did
it.
y'all hear what I said? I said the Ruth Mott Foundation and the Community Foundation were assigned to pick the people who's going to decide how to spend the housing money, public health money, economic development money. They're going to pick the committee. They said, oh, we're going to pick somebody from each resident. What are you doing picking anybody? You in our business. This is our money. You pick people for your money.
Right.
This our money.
Right.
And we don't even know who those people are. And city council, as last day or two I checked, they don't know who the people are that's going to pick the committee who going to spend our money. Now,
City council.
They don't know who the people are.
So they're not doing a screening as it relates to understanding who are these people, because I think those is where things get very conflicted, right? And you're saying that the money should be coming to Flint, and just speaking from an activist standpoint, right? We've always been in this community, and the same old players get the same old dollars, right?
That's
it's the
right.
Same old people getting checked, and then everybody who may have a program or who have a great idea gets nothing. Right, we've seen it over and over and over again. Now, when we talk about these dollars that's coming directly to Flint, we have the opportunity to be able to be a municipality or organization to be able to facilitate dollars and get those monies to grassroots organizations. And you're saying, right, that we didn't step up and do that.
Well, what I'm saying is this system that they set up has just now come out within the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
And when we heard about this, we were shocked and appalled. So this is some new stuff here. And if we don't make some noise, I don't think this is a good system to distribute our money. Okay. It is not, because you got found it, and we don't know what they're going to do. So we don't want to get out there and say, well, you, this and that. No. Make the system work to the benefit so that it's transparent. For example, can anybody from the community go to those advisory meetings?
Can they?
I don't know.
Is that a question that we?
I don't know.
Okay,
and city council members don't even know who's on the committee. Right. Now, why would you hand over your authority as a city council and your political clout? I mean, they represent us. They're the closest to the people. I don't agree with everything they do, but I don't know what those big box nonprofits gonna do. We didn't elect them to do some work and vetting for us on our behalf. So I'm really disappointed, and I'm scared. I'm really scared that when they get through, this money gonna get recycled back to the same people who got a lot of our water money. So we need to do an intervention in this and say this process do not work for us. Okay. This process do not work for us. These are some good categories, and even some of these need to be tweaked, because this housing and blight is home repair and improvement grants, gap financing for residential and mixed use projects, neighborhood cleanup, alternative uses of vacant lots, homeowner education. There's not one thing on there that says housing.
Right.
None, no housing.
So if I want to get my roof fixed, right? Because I've seen this on the application or so. If I want to get my roof fixed, there's no way I can get my roof fixed. I'm just
No, that you could home repair and improvement, but what about if we need new housing or rehab, like an unoccupied house that's got them good bones for some people have somewhere to stay.
Gotcha.
That's not even a category.
Okay, so how do we formulate a table from the grassroots perspective to be able to say, hey, this is where we would like that 15 million community grant program. This is how we prefer it to be spent.
Yes, and this is how we prefer it to be spent, and this is how we prefer it to be decided how it's spent. Because right now it's just like it's a closed door with people you don't even know who they are. How does that work with our money?
Who was it? Who had the authority to decide in the first place that these people, were going to pick the people?
That's a good question, and we need answer for that.
So the brother is saying in the background,
we need an answer for that. That's a good question.
Did that decision? So city council, right? I guess when you're talking about city council and administration, do they have the authority, right? Or are they giving up authority, or are they saying, hey, listen, we're going to allow these agencies to select a committee to be able to facilitate the dollars? Or can they say, hey, we as a municipality, as the city of Flint, we're going to distribute these funds. We're going to connect with grassroots organizations and get those dollars out there.
If they have that choice, they haven't exercised that authority. And that's what's so disheartening. Because the mayor came out, and this blew some of us away that's been trying to keep up with this. When he came out and say only agencies can put in for this grant program funding.
And that's the caveat. I think people need to understand that, because you had a lot of people who filled out that application, right?
Let's talk about that for a second to keep it, because
we're gonna keep it 100 on
it,
right?
It's only two. It's three. How do we access and exert our authority as community about our money? We only have three avenues.
Before Mama go into that, what she was saying is, now just sort of for some clarity for that $15 million in community grant program, she's saying the mayor of the city came out and said only nonprofits can apply for those dollars. And for-profits can apply for those dollars. So for everybody who have questions, who wanted to get a greater understanding of how to get connected to those dollars, or how can I get some of those monies, the administration came out and said only nonprofits or for-profits can request those dollars. I just want to be clear. Okay, now we're talking about
which scares us into believing that the same old people who got the other money from the state is gonna get this money, and this is our money. We was overlooked in that process. We can't allow ourselves to be overlooked again.
That's right. And this is why we say this to the community. This is why you got all these people on here that's listening and hearing and replying to this information that's being shared. We just want you to make sure that you're at the table, making sure that you understand the process, and making sure we know how to position ourselves. Okay.
So there was a lot of controversy, and there was a lot of conversation and arguments at the council about this request here. This was a form that Eric Mays was pushing. The council had put this out last year, and it gives people an opportunity to write what their desires are, not only as individuals, but if they had a nonprofit or something, they could fill this out. But here's the thing about this. This is only for information. This is not an official application. But you can still fill it out and hand it in because it's something that gives them a sense of what people want. So for that reason, it's worth filling out.
I know a lot of people may have been a little confused in the beginning, or whatever the case, because, you know, and I know that was the form that I know a lot of people had filled out to get access to those.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, what we're saying now is those dollars or that request application was good for collecting information.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
so
all.
Just so that we be clear, the application that we filled out, it was good for collecting information, which is vital because you want to get that information. You want to see what folks are requesting, right? So then that way we know what the need is.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is one way to express your desires. And you take this, you can get this on the 3rd floor of City Council. It doesn't mean you're going to get what you asked for, but it's something to inform the council and the administration what your desires are. This is one way to use your voice. The other way to use the voice, and it's the only thing, is for us to start going to city council meetings and calling our council people and telling them that we are dissatisfied with this grant process. Because you've got people you don't even know who they are making a decision for who gonna get the money. And some of these requirements I came across today because they got a full tape on the city website. And some of these things, like for youth wellness, to get money for that's not part of this, but youth wellness, you must have been in service for 5 years.
Okay.
So a new group might have 2 or 3 years ago might have started and
doing some real constructive work.
Doing some real good work. But
Right.
they say you must have been in service for 5 years.
And what is that? The youth wellness? And what is that? I must have heard clearly what you said about that. So where did that come from?
That's one of the things on the city website. They going through with the taping of all the different programs that they're I don't know whether it's under this or not, but it's one of the programs.
Okay.
And
you gotta check the city website.
Yeah, and then they got homeowner education for financial literacy.
Okay.
Wait, you need a home now, homeowner education.
And you know what? To be honest with you, I know a lot of people go through those programs, right? And then they still be living in an apartment. Right? I'm just saying, I don't know. I've been through a program before, something like that. But what I'm saying is people are needing the help yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? And we talking about taking folks through 1,000 different programs and putting in 1,500,000 sweat hours. It's like, I'm just saying, like, by the time, man, we're gonna be on the street, bro. I'm just saying, maybe that's just me.
And then one of the programs, they say you have to be a resident in the city of Flint for a year.
Okay.
300% of poverty, and your current taxes paid. And what I'm saying is these are all red lights because these are the same hurdles that's put in front of people even before this money in order to get help. You had to be up to date on your property taxes. You had to have homeowners insurance. You had to be, if you had a nickel over the cutoff on the money, you could. All of these hurdles, this ARPA money should not be tied down to those barriers. But we're going to have to go to the council and call our council people and say, take the barriers off and get this stuff done for the people. It's our money. And you're not asking them. You're telling them because it's your money. You don't have to ask nobody how to spend your money.
I think that's where I guess
The mentality.
yeah, that's where I guess the conversation. So if people requesting for repair on their home or repair or they have a youth program, they may be in need, right? And I think when we're talking about access to being helped to address that need, sometimes you have all these roadblocks. Like you have to be up to date on different things. Well, I may not be requesting these dollars for support if I was up to date. I'm just saying, like, if you really need the
Makes
help,
sense.
like if I need some credit on my water bill or wherever the case may be, then I need some support like that. Not saying I must have paid my bill for the past 2 years, right? Or otherwise I'd be in the clear. See, those things what we're saying is like eliminating those roadblocks. It's like you have to reach all these high marks before you get the support.
Mhm.
And sometimes people need to get a leg up so they can reach those high marks.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so this is what's scaring us about, will this be another money dump in the city of Flint that'll just dissipate and disappear? The people and the other thing, and we talked about this yesterday, this is so important.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to give agencies the authority to service these problems. And why do I say that?
What is that?
Because when they gave the $300, did they go get another agency to implement that? No, the city did it within the city, right?
Right.
When they replaced the pipes, you didn't go get an agency. Yeah, you had to put out bids to do the work, but the city was the ones that oversaw the projects.
Right. Yeah. So why
They went and got. So why do you have to have if we want to rehab houses, why can't we just hire some people in our building department, what's left of it?
Right.
Go get some of the retiree inspectors and go hire contractors and send them on out there to do this work. These applications for this money have to be in March. In March, you should be out there already working.
Right. And I guess that's what I'll be saying. So why, isn't it a way where we can encourage the city to take a more proactive
We're going to have
role?
to demand the city.
Okay.
We're going to have to demand them.
To be able to
This process that they got, they're the ones who set up the process. That's their job, the mayor and the city council. But this process is not fair and it's not accommodating to reach the people. And they're going to have to change that.
Right. I think, and then that's where the transparency piece going on. And then also, too, that's why it's so important when we talk about elections. That's why it's so important to elect these people that you feel are going to work on your behalf. Right? And for so long, that's been our own problem. We gotta accept the fact that we elected, who we have, right? Whether it's good or bad. I'm just, and it is hearsay now, but this is why it's so important. And when we look at the voting turnout, when we got 11-12% voters that turned out for the city of Flint, and then you got people in there who may not necessarily work for the constituents. And I'm not saying this is going on or not. I'm saying this is why it's so critical for you to go vote for people that's going to fight for you, that's going to be visionaries for the future, that's going to make sure, hey, listen, I'm going to make sure I'm going to feed my people today. I'm going to feed these constituents right now. They can't wait for all these barriers. They can't wait for all these roadblocks. They can't wait for, the city to get it together in a form where the process is clear for people. No, we need to make sure that we got people from the community as a part of these conversations. People are at these committees, they're on these tables, and they're facilitating the dollars because they're directly close to the need. Right?
That's right.
And so it's up to us. And I think, even from this whole conversation that we've been talking about, it's us as community members, as grassroots representatives, as agencies who've been doing the work and understand that, hey, we got to position ourselves in a better way, better than what we have been doing. And that starts today. So if there's a plan of action, what type of plan should we produce?
Well, one of the things our group is doing, and we're inviting others to join us, we just combing through all these different parts of it, what the city put out there.
Yeah.
And we saying, this is a no-go right here. This is not gonna work. And we trying to do a whole, like, profile of what is not gonna work for communities to access the money.
Okay. So how does the community get engaged with the group who's doing a profile, who's looking at this, who's doing their research, and understanding that we have to have these points and we have to have a message that we'd like to address? Like, how can community members get connected to the group?
Well, one of the things you can do is, and I know everybody don't have social media, but one of the things you can do is to communicate to us through Facebook, Flint H2O Justice. Flint H2O Justice. That's one of the ways. And we're going to be having meetings in the next week or two to get to the bottom of these things. And you can also call 810-813-1852 if you want to work with us to go down there and knock down some of these barriers to accessing our money.
I know.
Repeat that number one more time.
810-813-1852.
So,
And if anybody that's listening, if you have a group that you work with, I don't care if it's church or block club or whatever, you're welcome to join us, and we can. It would be nice if we could get something where we sign, different groups sign a statement, and present it to council and to the mayor.
That's something that's collective, and I think I love what we're saying here, right? What we have to do is identify. We know the problems, right? And we got some ideas, some solutions that we discussed. We all need to get together, and it doesn't matter what group you're in, what team you're on, whose side, who you voted for. But at the end of the day, everybody here. So I think, how can we formulate a coalition with all these groups, whether it be everybody who's on the line, who's listening to the conversation today, everybody who's actively doing something about it, or people who don't know nothing about it, and want to get connected. How can we all mobilize as one, as an army, to be able to put some points together, to be strategic, and go get our money?
That's what we got to do.
So what we saying to us, and what we saying to all, let's put some action points down. When the next time when we gonna meet about something? We should be very direct with everybody on here, because there's a lot of conversation and flow going on. Let's get a meeting time where we get a meeting or community conversation going, where we can sit down, we can look at the documentation, we can look at the grant, we can look at and check for transparency, and then put a plan together of how we're going to address it.
Well, I'm game for Saturday or Sunday. I don't know if other people, we may have an opportunity to get a place to meet, or if
we can meet right here.
We can meet right here. That's beautiful. Let's go for Saturday at noon.
Let's go so everybody look at your calendar, right? Everybody check your calendar. You know what? I'm supposed to be in Benton Harbor this Saturday. Sundays is good.
Sunday is good, but that people be at church, so we have to be later.
People at
Later
church.
in the evening, folks gonna go to church.
People at church on Saturday.
Sunday.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Sunday. People at church on Sundays. Is it a possibility? I know it's a sense of urgency, right? Or can we say do this, right? That we can establish a standing meeting where we know that each Saturday, right, at 12, if y'all want to meet, y'all can have the building, we have the building open and all that stuff. If y'all want to do it, I mean, throw y'all in the meeting like that. But if you want to have the meeting this Saturday coming up at noon, we have a standing meeting here at the building at the Oak Business Center. That's 2712 North Saginaw Street at noon, right? And everybody can be there. We can discuss. We can meet in the conference room, and then we can put a strategy together and keep this ongoing. We can make that happen. That way, if people have additional information that they like to share, or they have questions that they need answers to, then that way we can formulate our strategy as one,
Mm-hmm.
and then we carry out our objectives.
Yeah.
Y'all want to do that? Yeah, y'all. I'm leaning on you. Okay, so we're gonna our first meeting is this Saturday at noon, right? We're gonna be here at the Oak Business Center at 12, which is located at 2712 North Saginaw Street. That's right next door to Job Corps. We would like to have folks there willing to have questions, maybe be a town hall Q&A type of vibe, but we want to be able to make sure we get all in the room. If you have filled out an application before and you say, hey, I sent my application to this person, I ain't got no feedback, what's up? Let's get down to the table. Let's get some answers. Maybe we can kind of provide some additional insight. But let's get the ball rolling. I think, Flint has been bamboozled and played enough. Right? And everybody should be tired. Our children are suffering because the situation of where we are today. Right? When you're talking about Flint, Flint is a beautiful city. And I appreciate people because it's so resilient. We are special people. Look at all the crises that we have to go through. If it ain't water, then it's people stealing the money. Then it's COVID, right? There ain't no jobs, right? You should be sick and tired of being sick and tired right
All
now.
the schools closed.
All the schools closed. We can't get a leg up or nothing. And it's gonna take some real organization. It's gonna take us banding as one. I don't care about our differences. It's not about our egos. It's not about personality. It's not about none of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, the city is continuing to die every day. So we got to make some choices, Flint. We got to be real with ourselves. If we're going to do something, we're going to do it now. Because in a minute, like Mama Claire said, it's going to be at the end of the year, and we don't got to report out how that money going to be spent. The following year, we ain't going to have nothing to show for, and we're going to all look at each other and be mad again. Mm-hmm. So while we got resources on the table, let's make it happen. And let's be serious about making it happen. And it's not going to take just one meeting. People got to be down and dedicated because you see meetings going on all the time. People have to be there. You have to sacrifice your time, your precious life to be able to make a difference for everybody involved, not only just yourself, right? And it's about continuity. Because one time, what happened with us sometimes, we be so hot and bothered about the situation, just like the water crisis. We be so mad about something. We be so activated, and then we die out. It's just like with the Black Lives Matter. We can be somebody get gunned down in the street, yeah, for 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's a hot topic, right? But we don't get no resolve out of that because we ain't changed legislation. We ain't hold nobody accountable. Ain't nobody went to prison for life, and they still ain't stopped doing it, right? Just like with this water crisis, just like with Flint. If you're tired of the money coming to the city of Flint and it's being distributed by all these different agencies that continue to get the same dollars, and you don't get a crumb of it, and then you get mad, that's our fault. And if you're tired of electing people who ain't working for you, stop putting them people in office. Be about some real change. Be about some real resolve and really get activated. And just don't do it just for a short time. We need you for the long haul. And I want to put this point in there too. You remember the Montgomery bus boycott?
Yes.
You know them people sacrificed 384 days of not riding the bus, not walking to school, walking to children's school, walking to doctor appointments, walking to work. Because why? Because they stood for something rather than die for anything. And I think that's the type of energy that we need back because we got it. We've done it before. We on a second wind today. We trying to get that back. Everybody is busy. But listen, we got to be dedicated and committed to saying like, okay, let's work on this one issue. We're all going to work on these ARPA dollars. That means that we're going to come to these meetings on Saturday at noon. We're going to be able to discuss our strategy. And all week long, we're going to be carrying it out. And then following up with the next meeting. We're going to keep following up, whether that means going to city council. I know we don't like to be down there for 14 hours to wait on 2 agenda items. I'm just saying. I know that, right? I try to be down there too, and sometimes I try to watch it on TV, on YouTube. But nevertheless, we have to make sure that we stick with this one task and we see it all the way through to the point it makes sense for us. So tell us, please, how if there's anything anything we need to strategize on. Is there anything that last word that we need to say? Some announcements. What else you got for us?
That's all I got. I encourage people to go to the City of Flint page and look at the presentation and some of the things that they're saying of what's going to be required to access the funds is very disturbing. So go through that and write it down. We're going to try to pull it together. And you always can go to City Hall, to the council meetings, and voice your opinion. It's about your money. It's our money. No matter what they say, it is our money. And we don't have the right to allow big box agencies and special interests in this town to just come in and take our money, expropriate our money.
Come on.
You just come here and they just go and get it, and it belongs to us. We wouldn't tolerate that at our home. We wouldn't let somebody come in your home and just take your stuff. That's what we doing if we allow this to continue. And again, I don't know because it's so behind the scenes. I don't know who they got on the committee. I don't know who they letting have the money, but they need an intervention right now.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
So there you have it. We want to make sure we reiterate. We'll be meeting. Flint community will be meeting this Saturday at noon at the Old Business Center, 2712 North Saginaw Street. We'll be discussing ARPA dollars. We'll be discussing techniques and next steps. So if you have any other questions or you just want to be a part of a body that's mobilizing, that's trying to organize and do something different and make a difference for our babies, make a difference not only just for ourselves. Let's make a difference for ourselves, make a difference for our community, our neighborhoods, and really be diligent about it. We're gonna find some strategies and work together and make it happen. I'm gonna put that in here too. What's the date for Saturday? What's 260? What is it? 218? 18. Okay, at noon. I'm looking forward. I'll be in Benton Harbor, but I'm be here in spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we can put some notes together. I don't know if we want to collect some notes and be able to send out to folks, so we continue to get involved and let everybody know what we're doing, right? And then too, once you announce, we got to have Mother Claire. We want to make sure we make an announcement too. In addition to what we're doing on Saturdays, we're going to be opening up a broadcast with Mama Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Democracy Defense League will be that's the body, right? They'll be hosting and doing the show every Tuesday.
That's right.
At 6:30.
That's right.
And so we'll be talking about more of this information. We'll be talking about activism, and if we can win this, if we can do this one objective, we got 1,000 more followers.
Yes, because we're going to be talking about the emergency manager and a lot of things. Yeah. But right now, this ARPA situation is urgent. This is a 911. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't move on this, we're gonna be standing up there talking about where's the money. We got to get in there and get this money where we want it to be.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it. We can't go through that again. $500-600 million from the feds going to the state, and all we got was pipe replacement. No, no. There's so much more could have been did with that money.
That's right.
That came here before.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And be sure to subscribe to the channel Fli-City Blackout. I'm on Facebook, YouTube. We want to be able to have constructive conversations. We're not just lollygagging around. We ain't just talking some nonsense or blowing hot air. We really want you to be able to get informed, get the information straight from the sources. We'll continue to put that message out there. Yes, ma'am.
And I wanted to say also, so nobody misinterprets, some of these agencies have did some good things in the city of Flint.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
not out here bashing the agencies.
Yes, ma'am.
But
Shout out to
You-
those agencies.
You have done the agencies have done some good things, assisting our city, doing projects in the community,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a difference between you helping the community and you taking community's money.
Mm-hmm.
That's two different
Indeed.
things.
Indeed.
And that's the distinction.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want.
No, that's deep.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you go, son. So no, and I second that, right? I work with some of those agencies, and I know folks are doing some great works and things of that nature. But as a community, when we talking about we tired of the same old saying, like we got to stop, allowing other folks to do the work that we should be doing, and that's what it is. Like we have to get engaged, we have to do the work, we have to be there, we have to make sure folks follow through. Our thing is holding accountability in this community. So if those same agencies is getting the same old dollars and giving it to their friends and not doing nothing for people who on the ground and the grassroots, we got to hold folks accountable. And you got to stand on that. You got to step up and be about that. There's no hard feelings. It's about making sure we right the wrongs. Because this been happening for a long time. And I think people have been hurt. They feel like they don't want to get engaged, get involved because of those very issues, those very reasons. So now's the time. Now's the day. If we ever gonna do something for ourselves, you got money. You can't say we used to say like it ain't no money here. It ain't no resource. We ain't got no dollars. Well, we got money here. She just said it's 15 million in community grant program, right? Or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. But let's be about our business, Flint. Let's go ahead and make a difference. Let's make it happen. And let's be about something different. So we ain't got to be talking about how we was done with the water crisis. Any last words? Give me some last words, Mom.
No, that's all. But I look forward to meeting some of you all out there.
Somebody make sure to check you out on the show on Tuesday.
Oh yes, on Tuesday. Please join us at 6:30 because we're gonna keep this keep rolling about exposing the power structure in the city of Flint. What's been kept us down? How the powers to be have usurped our assets. That was one of the things that triggered the water crisis, them trying to take over the water rights. And so we got to talk about these things because if we don't understand who the enemy is, and we can tell from some of the conflicts going back and forth in our community, we're blaming each other for things that we might not like what people do, but who has the power that's impacting our lives and our community?
Come on.
We're going to talk about generational wealth.
Come on now.
Not just we own our own homes, but generational wealth has to mean the assets that we own as a community, like the water, like the land, like farmers market, like Santa Claus, and the schools.
Come on.
That's part of generational wealth too, because it's you passing on something to community, not just your house.
That's right.
But the assets that our families, most of us African Americans, have come from the South, and we built this town, we built General Motors, we made them rich. We have something that we built that belongs to us, and we need to keep it so that our children, the parks, the emergency managers sold the golf courses and everything. We got to stop this, letting the power structure steal the assets from our community. So we're going to get into that. But right now, this immediate thing is ARPA dollars, our money that we have to keep an eye on and dictate how it's spent.
It's our money, and we want it now.
Is there a name for the show Tuesday at 6:30 for them to be looking for?
Say it again.
Y'all put a name
What's
on the show.
Tuesday at 6:30?
Tuesday. Oh, so
Democracy Defense League Social Justice Hour.
Come on. Woo! Listen, we talking all these different points, but we got a flood of issues to deal with. We're gonna start with this one task and see how we complete this first, right? We're talking these ARPA dollars. Everybody got these applications. Like we said, it was over 7 million in resident requests. Let's get this one job done because we talking money, right? We need some money. Let's really get to work on this money. Let's get to knowing the ins and outs of this money, and let's go ahead and make sure that people who need these dollars get to it. So, there you have it. Oh, and then also, too, we next Thursday, at 11 o'clock. I'm drawing like 11:30. I'm sorry. Next Thursday, which is February 23rd. Next Thursday at 11:30, we will be hosting our Black History program in conjunction with CBOP, community-based organization partners, and Michigan, University of Michigan. We'll be at the Haskell Bring at 11:30. Y'all gonna be there, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna be there 11:30. We got box lunches. We're gonna be talking about this too. We're gonna have a conversation about ARPA dollars. We're gonna be having a conversation about Black history. We're just gonna be celebrating. We are servicing the community. It's all free. So make sure you come on out, invite some friends and family. We'll be having some special giveaways for folks. We have some light entertainment too. But we celebrate, and the whole theme of it is we are one. Preparing for partnerships. I'm sorry. So make sure you're there. You got lunchtime on next Thursday, February 23rd. Yeah, February 23rd, next Thursday. If you got some lunchtime, a little lunch break, come on, join in with us. We're gonna have a wonderful time. We got actually some great speakers. We're gonna have special guest Joel Jones, actually from Detroit. Inkster, he'll be down as our keynote speaker. We have some praise dance from the youth. We'll also be giving some information based on some evidence that we did on research with the University of Michigan and Michigan. So it's going to be a good time, but we still celebrating Black History because it's Black History Month.
Yeah.
And we can't just celebrate for the month because we celebrate all year long. So make sure you come out. There's a QRC code. Then also you can find the link. We'll put it on the Fli-City Blackout page, the form for you to register so we can get a head count for the food. So we'll be planning for you, ready to serve, ready to get activated and continue with action. And then also our heart goes out to MSU and the fatality that took place over there. And want to send a warm and peace and blessings and love to all the family members, all the students at MSU, everybody out there. It's a tragic when a situation like that takes place. That's been happening so much lately. It's like you kind of losing count. I think something just happened in Texas just yesterday.
They said 67 already mass shootings and
67 mass shootings. Just listen, it's got to take a stand, right? The devil was busy. And stuff is going on every day. And it's unfortunate that innocent people are losing their lives, right? And this is why we have to continue to fight the powers that be and be in position to make a difference, right? So we definitely want to send some heartfelt, love, and I'm going to send whatever, some healing power, some peace to that community out in Lansing, East Lansing specifically. So there you have it, right? When we'll get back in with the Fli-City Blackout next Thursday, we'll have Brother Joel Jones on, also Brother Raheem from Chicago, and we're going to have a conversation about public health, because that's been a big component. I don't think we really pay attention to public health and all that plays a part in it. So we appreciate everybody. Make sure you all like and subscribe to the Fli-City Blackout on YouTube. We will have Mama Claire on Tuesdays at 6:30. We'll be on Thursdays at 6. We'll be continuing to keep putting out this information. And we all meet on Saturday at 12 noon, starting this Saturday and continuing on. We're gonna tackle ARPA funds, and then we got a list of issues and problems that we need to tackle next, right? When you're talking about what's going on at the county level, when you're talking about what's going on at the city council, when you're talking about what's going on at the board of trustees, when you're talking about the Penn School Board, we got all type of strategies that we want to get together. We want to work with folks, right? We want to make a difference, and we ain't trying to be fighting with everybody, right? Right? Like Mama said, it don't matter what side you're on. It's like you should be on the righteous side. And hopefully we can get in the mindset to prepare ourselves to do that. So there you have it. You got anything else, Mama?
No, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for accepting it and providing those facts and the information. And thank you, everybody who chimed in. There's a lot of conversation going on. I definitely encourage you all to go on to the live and answer some of those questions. I was trying to, but maybe you can provide some greater insight, better than what I was able to give. Is there anything you would like to say or put out there in the atmosphere, some energy that we need to hear? I was gonna say that I'm gonna read that book, Prison Properties. What about you, Brother D? And you? Okay. there you have it. We tapping out. We had a good time. I think it's me and Mama's bedtime. We about to go ahead and turn down. Get something to eat. What you eat, Mama?
I don't know. I think I'm going to get some chicken.
What you eat?
Popeyes.
Oh, okay. All right, man. You ain't making nothing, do you?
I got some chicken at the crib.
Yeah. What about you, bro? Yeah, okay, man. Listen, meet us down there at Popeye. We gonna talk about it again. No, that's what I'm definitely tired too, and I'm hungry as well. But definitely had a good time, and it was a constructive conversation. I appreciate you, Mama Claire, for keeping us informed and keeping us motivated to fight and being inspired to carry on, because we are each other's crutch. And so when we started learning that and started building with each other. And drive carefully out there. I do see that, Miss Booze. Drive carefully. It's supposed to be a snowstorm, and I couldn't even get in the car with so much ice in the car. So make sure you be out there, be safe, go home, relax, let's debrief, and then we'll see you all on Saturday at noon.
All right.
We got to do
Good
a
night.
blackout, Mom. Black it out.